Okay guys, if you can hear my voice, go ahead and give us a quick like there. We're just getting started into our sound check. This is Kirstin Stone, although my voice has become more and more unrecognizable as the days go on. And we got Dave Henninger here. He's going to sound check for you as well. Go ahead and give us a like if you can hear us.
David Chamberlain's your crewmate.
I've been trying to have it because it's been an issue for days now. We got some comments already. I can hear you, now I can't. Okay, MB, we got you. Sorry, we're having a little bit of a connectivity issue over here, but I think that we've resolved it. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in and ready to go. Again, I'm joined by Dave Henninger at the moment. We're hoping that Kevin Fenney will be with us shortly. Where are we at here? I think I'm on the wrong side. Alright, now we're in business, guys. I am joined here by Dave Henninger. He's one of our engineers back at Comp Cams. He was a big part of the... Now you can hear me, but it's fuzzy. Is it still an issue? Dave was an integral part of the FSL cam development, which is what brought us one of those beautiful new products awards yesterday. Tell me a little bit about that process, and I know that it was chaos in the run-up to the event this week. Tell me about that.
Well, I guess I have to give credit to most of our engineers back home. Billy Godbold, who's not here, actually was the design engineer on the camshaft. And that particular camshaft is one of GM's more complicated camshafts. It does have 4 lobes that are configured one way for the displacement on demand, and it has 4 lobes configured the other way for the normal cylinders. So it's a very complicated camshaft. But we did sort of make a mad dash to the SEMA garage to try to get that product in the car and get it passed. It was successful. Actually, it had better emissions and better power than the factory camshaft.
And that's great news. One of the things that was really exciting to me that you mentioned yesterday is the sheer number of cars that this will solve a problem for. What does that scope look like?
It's a large fleet of vehicles. It's approximately 1,700 vehicles that this camshaft profile will cover throughout GM's ranks from 1999 all the way to 2018. So
that's enormous, and so that helps us a ton with getting more EO numbered cams available to the masses immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Mr. Kevin Fenney. Kevin, get in here in between Dave. Well, good luck getting in between at the moment. Here, get in here. And we're going to have to share mics. Apparently my mic is not great.
Okay.
And so I would suggest we work off of that one. So we were just talking about the FSL cam development and about the approval process. Tell me a little bit about the frequent jaunts back and forth to the SEMA garage and about their involvement in the process.
Well, the SEMA garage was instrumental in getting it done. Very nice facility, very well organized, and obviously have the test equipment to complete all the tests required for the emissions compliance.
Right.
So we basically pack up our gear and fly out to SEMA and They supply most of the tools. We bring some specialty tools, but it was pretty much seamless to change the camshaft in the 2015 Camaro.
Right, and have you dealt with this process without the help of SEMA before?
I have dealt with this process without SEMA before. Before I was at CompCams, I've also done some emissions testing, and it is a very complicated, lengthy process. It's something that requires some patience and obviously some knowledge to get it done.
So that is well worth the involvement of the SEMA Garage. I think we can all agree that they really expedited the process.
Absolutely. The testing facility there is incredible. But one of the biggest advantages is their relationship with CARB and helping you through the whole EO process and,
right.
and you know how the letters need to be written and the information. And I think help pointing Dave in the right direction when it comes to the research on the vehicles.
Yeah, they SEMA Garage, first off, only uses vehicles that are going to have a huge line of coverage. That's how we were able to get this 1,700 vehicle coverage over this camshaft. So they pick the best vehicles. They're usually higher polluters, so if you pass this higher pollution content from the vehicle, that usually gets you a broader range of vehicles to select from to prove your products on.
Okay. So it's awesome that we're able to move through the process so much faster and with so much more efficiency than, before the SEMA Garage, it wasn't possible to do anything like that. It was this monstrous process. I think we could all agree.
Very cost prohibitive, really, for most manufacturers at that point.
Right, and that SEMA has the ability to verify compatibility of EO cams and, work backwards across so many makes and models, where before we would have been applying one by one for this process. It's just a little bit nightmarish. So thank you to SEMA for all the help and all of that program development. I think we mentioned yesterday that was one of Scooter's kind of initiatives when he was dealing with the board really closely. So we certainly have a vested interest in SEMA Garage and in its continued success. And I think Kevin's laughing at me secretly over here because my voice is so bad. You guys, I apologize. I keep getting comments that my sound is bad, and I think what they're hearing breaking up is actually my voice.
We'll put it under mic, though.
Yeah, let's call it the microphone. The other thing that I have on the docket to talk about today is the MSE process. So that is like our new baby. But on the internet yesterday, people were saying it's just a lot of marketing wank surrounding polishing. That's not true. I know that's not true. I know you two gentlemen know that's not true. Talk about how it's not a polish.
It's really quite the contrary. Polished cams have become a very popular thing in the last couple of years, and Dave and I have seen it out in the marketplace. And one thing that we see is a lot of other manufacturers and camshafts are covering up really some of the surface finish issues that we experienced during the grinding process. And we were adamant we weren't going to just go polish camshafts. We wanted to go make sure that we were taking all the steps throughout the manufacturing process to enhance and do the right things as far as surface finish before we went and did any type of cosmetic. And really this isn't a cosmetic, and Dave can probably speak more of the process, but it does give it a very nice appearance. There's no doubt about that. But really the untold story here is what it does to enhance the surface finish, and in particular pick up bearing surface.
That's correct, Kevin. The biggest thing I see for it is, it makes it look like a piece of jewelry, but the biggest benefit you gain is, and I'll try to make this simple, when you take a grinding wheel and you grind the lobe on the camshaft, you have a bunch of peaks and valleys. And so this polishing process actually cuts down those peaks and gives you more surface area for your lifter to ride on, which is really the huge benefit in this process.
Right, so it gives you more surface area to ride on. Tell me why that matters.
That spreads the load out, so your lifter is riding on the top of the camshaft lobe, and this spreads the load out across the camshaft's profile on the top. So instead of having a bunch of small little peaks across there and the lifter riding on these peaks, it cuts those peaks down and gives you, in our case, I think it was improved by 60 or 70% surface area. So now we're approaching 90% surface area, whereas you look at some of our competitors' camshafts, they might be in the 10 or 15% area for that lifter to actually ride on.
Right, and the reason that that's important from my understanding is that stress points become weak points with time. So if we can eliminate all of those peaks and all of those stress points, stop laughing at me, Kevin. If we can eliminate all of those peaks and those stress points, we can get into a more durable cam that's going to last you longer and serve you better over its lifetime.
Absolutely. I mean, the more surface area you have and the contact patch between the roller, the lifter itself, and the journal, the less pounds per square inch, I guess, if you want to put it down to basic terms, of the contact, and the less load that you're going to have, you're obviously going to have a lot more longevity out of the part.
One of the other questions that I saw, last night was, what about everybody else? What's the plan for development and like reaching out beyond the LS cams? Because at this point we've released it just to LS cams.
It is just on the LS cams, and the reason we targeted the LS cams first is they're very noise sensitive on the valve train, and a lot of that is due to surface finish issues. So that's why we targeted it to begin with. It is something we'll expand into the other camshafts. We have done some polishing in the past, but it was all belt polishing. It wasn't using the high-speed centrifugal media that we do now. And that gave you, again, the shiny camshaft, but it really didn't pick up the bearing surface, and it gave you created actually some additional stresses because it was the grain structure here, the way you were polishing it.
That's correct, on the lobes.
Right. Billy Godbold has actually joined us. Welcome, Billy. We're happy to have you here. If you want to add anything in the comments here, certainly more than welcome to do that. One of the things that Billy told me, that the process that we're using now versus a belt polish, that a belt will not only eliminate your peaks but also increase your valleys and increase the waviness overall. So that was something that was sort of shocking to me, because that makes it almost exclusively a cosmetic process, which is not what we're doing here. This isn't a polish. The shininess is just a pretty byproduct.
And that, with the belt polish, and if you think about it, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the pressure, especially when you're doing the lobes as the lobe comes around on the base circle versus the peak of the lobe.
Right.
In addition, something that we pick up that I think is a huge benefit too in this process is it defers the entire camshaft.
Right.
It knocks off any additional stress risers that are created during the manufacturing process, not necessarily just on the journals and the lobes, but on the barrel itself.
Yeah, in the words of Billy Godbold during one of our training sessions, it shouldn't be a finished product unless you can rub your face on it, right? So
those are the words from one of our training sessions you used. Billy can get a little bit more colorful at times.
But the new MSC process cams are definitely camshafts you can rub your face on. So maybe we'll run with that as our new marketing tagline. Is there anything else going on, guys, here in the booth that you're excited about and want to share?
Go for it, Dave.
Well, we just introduced a new polymer intake for the LS3 engine, and it's going to include the LS7 engine. That's a pretty exciting product. It's modular. It has runners that you can shorten or lengthen with the trumpets that you can install onto it. That's something new and exciting. I'm pretty
How do you stack that up, or how do you compare that to the LSXR or the LSXRT?
I would say it's a little more racy intake, but I think it's for those guys looking for that sort of a race look instead of the automotive production look. So It's got a really fancy look to it, but yet that's a great performer. It's worth about 30 foot-pounds over most intakes at around 5,500 RPM, so it's a really good choice for some people trying to add some power to the upper range.
Right, and in my experience in being in the room when they were testing composite intakes, heat soak becomes almost a non-issue. So that is an impressive thing that we're looking forward to testing. Like you said, it's a little bit of shift away from the LSXR, LSXRT, like OE look. I think it's an exciting one. And when are we looking at availability on that?
We're looking at something around the 1st of April.
Okay, so it's coming quick.
It is coming quick. It's a neat product, a little bit different market because we're not concerned with hood clearance, and like Dave says, more of the racing market that's looking at it. One thing that's important to communicate on that part too is it is good for boosted applications.
Right.
Yeah, so our initial testing and simulation says it's going to be good to about 700 kPa, so it's going to be very boost friendly manifold.
You're talking like an engineer right now. Tell me how many pounds of boost I can run through
So
it.
we're going to be able to handle plus 60 pounds of boost with this intake manifold. I know that's not normal for most people in the aftermarket, but if some racers do want to get their handle on it and run their 50 or 45 pounds, I think they're going to be plenty happy with
this. Right, if you're running diesel boost through your gas motor, we've got exactly what you need. The other thing that we were talking about yesterday, and I guess it's in line with the boost limits of that intake, I mean, the burst pressure on it was something absurd. We've been going through just crazy testing on it, absolutely torture testing it through development, and really excited about this one.
Well, you know, there's a little misnomer there on burst pressure. Everybody looks at a composite manifold thinking it's weaker, and a cast manifold being stronger when it comes to the burst standpoint. But you know, something I'll take into consideration on a composite manifolds, there's some flex to it.
Right.
So as you get into those higher pressures, you know, there's a little bit of give to the manifold, and truth be told, you're probably going to see the seal start to leak before it's going to actually fail to part itself.
Right. There's no welds that are going to pop on that thing.
Correct.
There's no, I mean, I've seen a nitrous backfire absolutely decimate an aluminum manifold. So, you know, it's not really an apples to apples comparison. Correct. We're talking about different things there.
I think if people look at their sheet metal manifolds of days past, boosted applications, you can see how they deform over time. So it's not unusual to see a sheet metal manifold also become imploded a little bit from running consecutive boost passes, let's say.
Right. Consecutive abuse passes, we'll call them that.
You know, something else we took into consideration on that part is it's compatible with existing intercooler packages. We're looking at the LT1 applications and potentially even the cathedral ports, because those are very popular still.
And since the top, well, this is a big assumption on my part, the top piece of the intake would be the same, it seems that development would happen pretty quickly for subsequent applications.
Yeah, we are looking at some different configurations on the tops. Again, going back to the foundation we had with the LSX manifolds, the modular design gives us a lot of flexibility.
Right. And so it's neat to be able to draw all of those features, plus just make it ready for the guys that are ready to wail on their motors. So with that said, I mean, if there's nothing else you guys want to add here, let's talk about exciting things you've seen at the show. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, first of all, my thoughts is the first day of the show yesterday was just incredible. The amount of traffic, the number of attendees. I think I heard this morning 170,000 people coming through the halls here. So I can't speak a lot for the rest of the show because we spent our time in the booth overwhelmed with people interested in our products.
Right.
The only time we've seen a little bit of the show was walking in and out yesterday, but very excited. I think everybody is enthusiastic and things are looking up for next year.
Hey guys, just as a note, Billy Godbold says we were doing a great job with our technical information, so thanks, Billy. One of the comments that was made last night at dinner, we were out with one of our data guys who's here, and he's like, hey, did you guys see that thing that was in that booth? Did you see that thing that was in that booth? We're like, was it in the Comp Performance Group booth? Because if it wasn't, we didn't see it.
They didn't see it, right?
But I mean, it speaks to how busy we were, and I mean, we appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's been coming by, checking out the new stuff, checking out the new award-winning products, checking out the other also great but not award-winning new products. We appreciate it. We got a lot going on over here, so make sure you're swinging by. What about you, Dave?
I'd just like to say, I mean, anyone coming out to the SEMA Show is going to have a great time. Ton of vehicles, ton of products, friendly people. I think it's being here in Vegas, it just boasts for a good time.
So one of the things that I've said for a long time about working in the automotive industry is that you're dealing with people who get it. Like, I'm standing here with two car guys. We get to sit down and talk cars all day, and we get to come in here and talk cars all day to other people about what they're excited about, what they're just absolutely pumped on. And I think that's what makes this show so exciting, is we're just surrounded by so many like-minded people.
The amount of passion that everybody has, it works for all these manufacturers and the attendees. It's incredible.
Right, and I think that we're off to a great start. So with that said, you guys, go ahead and drop us a comment. Tell us if there's anything that you'd like to see in our videos or photos coming up from this week. We're happy to provide that, and for any comments that we get there, you'll be entered to win a CPG hat and t-shirt from the brand of your choice. With that said, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We appreciate you all so much. Tune in tomorrow for more. Maybe I'll have a voice. We'll see you soon, guys.
Take it easy. Thanks.
We're going to have to do something with you, girl.
Yeah.